Hello, Coach Jason here, and today we're going to be looking at how to checkmate using a knight and bishop. This is one of the more complicated checkmates in chess, but using this triangulation method that I will describe, it should be fun and efficient. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I find it's helpful to look at the board as if it's a bunch of triangles, and those triangles have edges that correspond to the color of your bishop. So there's two really large triangles here, and as you see, the black king is already in one of those. I keep him inside this upper triangle for the game. You can only checkmate in the corner that is the color of your bishop. You may not necessarily checkmate with the bishop, you might checkmate with the knight, but it will be towards that corner. So since I have him in the large triangle, I want to then try to get him into smaller and smaller triangles. So we have that larger triangle, and eventually I'm going to try to drive him into this medium-sized triangle. And I have to be kind of vigilant looking for opportunities to upgrade my bishop's position. So we're going to have the bishop optimized as much as possible. If I can put my bishop one square from the edge of the board, it's going to be more difficult for the king to run at me. And I will also be able to jump to that next smaller triangle whenever the opportunity arises. So bishop will be optimized when he's one square from the edge. Again, he's in this larger triangle now. I'd like to drive him into this smaller triangle next, and eventually I will put him in a tiny triangle in the corner here. That's kind of how we want to look at this. We want to look at these smaller and smaller triangles, use your bishop as kind of that edge, and then use your king to drive him in, and the knight kind of seals up the holes. Okay, so the knight and bishop do really well when they're on the same color and they're one square apart like this. They're able to create these fantastic walls that are very useful. We can use the knight and bishop in these sort of configurations to drive the king to smaller and smaller triangles. Let's go to lichess.org. We go here to learn, down to practice, and this is under piece checkmates 2, and we're going to go to the third one from the bottom, knight and bishop mate number 1, a light square corner with the light squared bishop. I have to go to either A8 or H1 here, and of course in this case it's going to be easier if I can keep him here since he's already kind of over there and my bishop is there, so that's what I'm going to go for here. And I need to make some sort of a wall using my knight and bishop together. You can see the king could slip out right there, but if I drop my bishop back, now I've got a nice wall here. So the king can't get out there, and I'm just going to kind of fill this hole over here with my king for now. I would like to put him inside this triangle here next. If the king moves out of the way, I can drop here. And the bishops are optimized one square from the edge so that they can always jump to that smaller triangle. And now it looks like I can go ahead and grab this triangle already. Now I'm in this smaller triangle, which seems like good progress here. And I'll go ahead and optimize my bishop. I've got to run away there, but I'll put him in kind of an optimal spot. And let's see. I'd really like to get my knight so that it covered these two squares. So I'd really like to get to D5. Isn't the time to do it. My king's in the wrong spot. Maybe move my king here. And I still can't move to D5 because I've got to cover this square here. Move my king. And now I should be able to move to D5. And this is a pretty fantastic square here, the D5 square, as the knight's covering these two squares, also covering this square, which is handy, keeps the king from escaping. And of course the bishop has all these. King really only exists on those 6 squares there. We've got him completely trapped, and now we're just going to bring our king in and drive him into the corner. Yeah, I can go ahead and do that now, but you do have to watch out for stalemate here. Need to make a waiting move with my king here. Okay, so now I can go ahead and choke up with my bishop. And there's really nothing that can be done. I'm in that smaller triangle. Now I have to reposition my knight to strike that B8 square he's sitting on there. And it's checkmate in 2. Same idea here. I see that the king is on this large triangle. I'd like to keep him in that triangle. And so I'm going to make a little bit of a plan here. I think it would be really nice to get my knight to this square here. And I plan on eventually having my bishop here. But I've also got to make sure that he doesn't make a sprint for the corner over there. If I go here, I've got to have my king ready to keep him from getting into the corner. I just need to make sure that I can get to this square with my king at least right after he gets to that square there, so that he doesn't get back to the corner over there. If I can go here, if I can get to this square here, then between my bishop and my king, he can't get out of the corner. I mentioned I'd like to get my knight here. Yeah, I can go ahead and just drop down, get myself ready for that. This is fine. He can't get out if he goes here. If the king does go to that square, then I can go there, keep him from getting out. So this is okay. It looks like I could just go ahead and optimize my bishop down here. Yeah, I guess I'll play that move. My knight and bishop are working very well together, blocking that king in very nicely. My king's got to deal with these squares. I've got a fence most of the way around him, and I'm just going to go ahead and drive that king back until I can get into a smaller triangle. So you can play waiting moves with bishops and waiting moves with the bishop or the king. Okay, so now I'm in, and here already, so my knight's got these covered, so I could just jump here, and now I optimize on the other side, the bishop and the knight. This is all sealed in, so he can't get out there. So it looks like this is the time to go ahead and jump to d5. d5 is a great square because from there the knight would cover these two squares, but importantly also covers that square with the help of the bishop, completely seals in the king. So you'll notice a lot of times it's great to have the bishop and the knight one square apart. I've got the right amount of time to go ahead and get that done. The final phase now between the knight and the bishop, completely blocking the king into those 6 squares that he has to move on. And I'm going to go ahead and bring my king down and then push him up one way or another to the corner. I don't really have to worry too much because he's blocked in. I just, I have waiting moves I can play. So I can go ahead and choke up already here. I can go ahead and grab that smallest triangle. If he goes after me, I just run to the other side here. My king comes save me. I need a buy move, so I'll go ahead and move that bishop now. Usually end up moving him anyway. And now I need to reposition this knight so that it can strike at that b8 square the king is sitting on. I can do like this, and now I will checkmate with the knight. So we go to chesskid.com, go down to learn, and over to workout. And bishop and knight on the edge is the 4th one down. I played this game on chesskid.com and then I transferred it to chess.com so that I would have my tools to explain my thinking. But we can go ahead and take away this g8 square now, so that forces the king over. This is a large triangle here. Centralize my knight here first, and he scoots over, and now I'm going to jump my bishop into that larger triangle. So I'm in that large triangle now. I'm going to make sure that I don't let the king out of that triangle, and I want to eventually push him into, my goal is to use my king and bishop and kind of seal the holes with my knight. Well, seal the holes with my king and knight, and then drive him into that smaller triangle, and eventually even into this even smaller triangle right before we checkmate. Okay, so I've got him in this largest triangle. He's go ahead and optimize my bishop to the other side. Having my bishop and knight one square apart like this enables them to build a fence. Our white king will need to keep the black king from escaping this end. We'll push our way in there and then push him to a smaller triangle. So I just need to bring my king into that and try to prevent him from getting out the other way until I'm able to jump into that other triangle. And now the opportunity arises. I can go ahead and jump into that next size triangle, smaller triangle now. And he might go after me, but then I just optimize So again, optimizing the bishop, kind of as far away from the action as you can be, but still having that opportunity to jump in the next size triangle. So we would like to trap the king with our bishop in that triangle. So that's kind of our next goal. And now we actually have the opportunity to reposition our knight. So the knight's keeping track of these two squares, but the bishop's got this diagonal, and our king's got this square here covered right now. So knight doesn't need to do it. So we can actually go ahead and jump with our knight. And if he tries to escape, our knight gets here just in the nick of time. So he's covering that square. Knight and bishop work together to completely box the black king in. He has to exist in those 6 squares, and there is no way out as long as the knight and bishop stay in position there. With our king, we're gonna have to come in here and end up pushing the black king into the corner. So no need to worry, he can't get out there. So I do a little bit of a dance to gain position, and now I jump to that smallest triangle. He goes after my bishop, but it's useless at this point. Bishop and the knight have him completely blocked in, and I'm going to need my king to be on this b6 square. I need my knight to be able to strike at this square in order to deliver checkmate. Depending on the situation, it's either the second to last or the last move. Sometimes, depending on how things go, you checkmate with the bishop, sometimes with the knight. He steps up, and now I can move my king up, and now we'll be checkmating with the knight. And that's checkmate. This concludes our video on how to checkmate with a knight and bishop. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and hit that like button. And also hit that notification bell if you'd like to know about more chess videos, as I will be posting at least one every week. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.